Okay, guys, so today, I am going to be, I gave a little short about Uganda a couple of days ago on my Instagram, but now that I have more time, I'm going to react to this. Without further ado, let's get into it.
The LGBTQ community faced a shocker in Uganda as their parliament passed a bill for criminalizing the act of identifying as a member of that community. The anti-homosexuality bill was passed by a unanimous majority yesterday. The new law has introduced stringent sentences which go to the extent of sentencing one to lifelong imprisonment or even death penalty if found guilty of being in same-sex relationships. The law also bans promoting or abetting homosexuality along with what they have labeled as conspiracy to engage in homosexual relations. Now, the US Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre has expressed grave concerns about this bill. Meanwhile, supporters in Uganda of the bill are of the opinion that the law needs to include a broader array of LGBTQ activities. The bill has been sent to Uganda's President Yoweri Museveni and awaits his approval for being passed as a law. However, President Museveni is already known for having denounced homosexuality repeatedly in the past at several occasions.
Members of Uganda's LGBTQ community are in shock and afraid for their lives after Parliament passed a new bill that would make it a crime merely to identify as LGBTQ. The anti-homosexuality bill passed with a near unanimous majority on Tuesday.
You know, I will say this. Take a look at that room, right? Okay. So I have posted on my Instagram, I think a couple of weeks ago, it's probably been a month now, about this one idiot in the Scottish Parliament who decided to say that complain. He got on the floor to complain how there's still so much that needs to be improved in Scotland because all the highest office, majority of all the office positions are held by white people. He's from India or some country like that, immigrant over. Scotland, mind you. There's too many white people. It's a white country. Now, I wonder if his family would have immigrated to Uganda, which they wouldn't have. But let's just say they were just that open-minded and that progressive that they decided to go to Uganda, and he became a part of their government. I wonder if it would be so smug to say, this whole entire parliament, all the highest office in Uganda are held by black people. This needs to change. We have so much progress to make. Just notice that. And then I will find that video for you guys and then play it at the end.
Same-sex relations are already illegal in Uganda and over 30 other African countries. The new law would introduce steep sentences, life in prison for same-sex relations, and the death penalty for aggravated homosexuality, which according to the bill involves gay sex with people under 18 or when the perpetrator is HIV positive.
I'll get on board with that because see, America, they like to hide our White House and stuff, they'll hide that bit of information. Why? They don't want you to know that. That changes things. However, if you put it in a context where, woe is me, and we're being oppressed, you can't include those things in there. Because to any rational person, to admit to them, that might seem warranted of a death sentence. I would think any mother, any father, who, if their child who's underage or of age is attacked by aggravated assault with someone, whether they have HIV or not HIV, or whether they are HIV or not HIV positive, it would probably stir up some feelings and emotions. And yeah, they probably would want that person to die, especially if it's from HIV, if the perpetrator had HIV. This is only natural. A natural reaction. Not saying that everyone's going to do that. There are some people who would just sit there and forgive and pray for that individual, but that's not the reaction for most people. But this, the news want to keep that out. They want to keep that bit of information out. because it paints a different narrative. It paints LGBT as being oppressed.
Among other categories, advocate Frank Mugisha is one of a few Ugandans who live openly as gay. His charity for LGBTQ rights was shut down last year.
The last time the legislation was around, there were cases of suicide. So this time, this law is worse than the one that was here before because it has a death penalty. And many people will be worried. Many people will be scared.
Supporters.
Why would they be worried if they're not trying to have aggravated assault? They're not trying to have aggravated sex with a minor, or if they have HIV, go and aggravate or go and sexually assault someone with it. Why would they be concerned about that if they're not doing that? Don't do it. I mean, there's other countries in Africa to go to. Move there. Or else, I'm sorry. Like, there's a reason why your whole entire parliament decided to do this unanimously, or mostly unanimously. I would think they would have more of a grasp of the political, social crap that's going on throughout the world. And right now, I do believe that there is an ideological war going on, as well as a monetary war, as well as a resource war going on right now. These individuals who are in charge of a freaking, what? You're in charge of a, what do you say? What do you say? I can't really remember what it was. Some N. Okay, what the fuck does he know about the actual, how can I say, the actual current events and the consequences of having such disgusting, degenerate behavior be allowed in society? How can he possibly know what's going on? And he's not even clued in. He's more worried about his people and making it end for them and making them feel safe. So at some point, I think that guy might want to step back, look at what's going on in the world, and understand why they are making, promises that there might be a death sentence and for certain actions. Now, as far as, saying that it's not broad enough, that's where I'm going to kind of nitpick at a little bit. I don't think that you should be persecuting these individuals, but let me just keep going.
Say it is needed to punish a broader array of LGBTQ activities, which they say threaten traditional values.
They do.
The law also bans promoting and abetting homosexuality, as well as conspiracy to engage in homosexuality. U.S. Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre noted grave concerns about Uganda's bill on Wednesday.
If the AHA is signed into law and enacted, it would impinge upon universal human rights, jeopardize progress in the fight against HIV/AIDS, deter tourism, and invest in Uganda and damage Uganda's international reputation.
Now, here's what I have to say. If you're going to be put to death if you do this with someone who has HIV, or sexually assault someone, aggravated sexually assault someone with HIV, and that person dies, and let's say all of them who have HIV are doing this, eventually there's it's going to be, I guess, attrition, that right there. Well, eventually, you'll stop having as many people with AIDS passing or HIV passing around. It's a deterrent to keep your pants and your shit in your pocket, or shit in your pants, I should say. Okay, and then on top of that, and I keep hearing this from so many black, Black Americans who have somehow, glorified or have some romanticized fantasy of how African culture really is. Those really like, oh, I'm African queen, blah, 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 and wearing all that dumb African shit, right? And I don't mean it in that way, but they don't wear it with the same respect. They don't wear it with the same, reverence. They just don't. They wear it to show virtue signaling, how they're in touch with the lost parts of Africa. That's the reason why they wear that shit. Now, those types of people, they have come out and say, well, Africa had all this shit. We had all of it. And, here come the colonizers, white people coming and trying to tell us what we can and cannot do with our culture, how our culture is so backwards and all this shit. Aren't you doing that now? How do you feel about America telling another African country about how they should live their life, how they should live in their society? This is still colonization. Now we just have blackface all over it. You're colonizing ideas. You're colonizing the way of life, and that they should capitulate to your thinking, your way of life. And you'll sit here in America, this bitch here will sit here in America and talk about white supremacy and how white people love pushing their ideas onto black people. No, it's Western, actually, ideas that is like to be pushed, these Western progressive ideas, leftist ideas, destructive, diabolical ideas is what this government loves to push. And honestly, what the past governments did too, because I'm gonna say this right now, and I don't care what anyone says. White supremacy and this trans crap, this ideology, they're cut from the same cloth. I don't care what you say. They're just and one person on my Instagram had said they're just two sides of a different coin. You want to talk about Nazis? These people right here want to talk about Nazis. They were devout socialists. They pressed on, pushed throughout Europe in a way to spread their way of life, spread their ideology of hating Jews. What did that sound like to you? When trans people spread their shit, this LGBTQ crap, and this flags and shit, spreading their shit. They're very imperialistic about it. And if you don't do what we do, we're gonna cut off the money, we're gonna cut off aid medication, PrEP medication. And you wanna call America, you wanna say that the only people in America who are racist are white. Like I said, I'm not one to sit here and say that Ugandans should be persecuted just for being homosexual, right? And I do have a problem when they say that the penalty, like the crime, should be more broader. That can mean so many. That can mean so many people being round up and possibly charged for something that, maybe even put to death for things. I don't know. I just think that is wrong. Period. However, I do see disturbing behavior here in the West from people in her community. And like I said, if you haven't come out already, out and say that you're against, grooming children and that you're against this backwards ideology, I don't want your ass in my life. I find these people extremely I find them extremely dangerous. That's the reason why I stay the fuck away from them, because I promise you, if they come around me, I'm blasting them away. Don't come to my house. Don't try to threaten me in any type of way. Do not, because if you come for me, I'll be ready for you. And most people I know who are like this towards LGBT, we don't have a problem with you. But keep coming for us, keep coming for our kids, and then we're gonna have a fucking problem. You live your life the way that you want to live. I'm gonna live my life the way I want to live. I don't know why that's so fucking hard to get through your head. Stay the fuck away from kids. Stay the fuck away from. Just stay in your own fucking community. Fuck. How about that?
Legislation will soon be sent to Uganda's president, Yoweri Museveni, to be signed into law. He has repeatedly denounced homosexuality.
If the law is signed by the president, the worst would be mass and mass arrests of LGBTQ persons, mob violence towards the LGBTQ community, putting LGBT persons, I don't know if they're going to be concentration camps or rehabilitation centers that are so discriminatory, because many people are going to be internally displaced.
Mugisha said he would challenge the law in court on the grounds that it is unconstitutional and violates various international treaties to which Uganda is a signatory.
We will go to all courts in Uganda. If need be, we'll go to the international court as well. But we definitely have to go to court and challenge this law.
So this man would like for those, who are put to death no, he doesn't want people being put to death if they have AIDS and they sexually assault someone or if they sexually assault a minor. And like these people, it's like either their way or the highway. There's no middle ground with them. They have to have all of their nasty ass, disgusting, degenerate vices, or else you're the enemy. They're radicals. They're disgusting, and they push this shit like a religion. I mean, it's like worldwide. They want to push this shit, and it's starting from the West. Because I've been over in the Middle East. I've been over to Africa. They don't play that shit. They keep it on the and if they do, they keep it on the down low. Why the fuck can't we have discernment? Not discernment, but some sort of I wouldn't even call it discretion, but some sort of way to like control and contain your emotions with this shit. Nobody wants to see that shit out in public. Nasty ass motherfucker. Oh. Anyways, this is like my whole take on this. I definitely see how this is going to be bad for those who identify as LGBTQ. Unfortunately, it's unnatural anyway. You shouldn't be fucking a guy in the ass. You most definitely why? That's how fucking diseases get started anyways. But new diseases get introduced anyways. I have a feeling I have like a fucking disgusting. But people are just I don't know, people are just weird, and it seems that more people are more concerned about themselves than than the people next to them. And I know this might sound a little bit weird from where I'm coming from, but I do think that there needs to be law and order. I do believe that there is a right and a wrong. And sometimes if people, there's some things that there's no gray, there's no middle ground on for me. And it has more to do with morality. There's no morality in vacating death penalties for people who would sexually assault minors, groom minors so that they can be come into this community, and sexually assaulting someone who has HIV if you know you're HIV positive. So I'm sorry. That is a hard line for me that I will never see or have empathy for these types of people. But the path to hell is oftentimes paved with good intentions. So we are seeing it now when it comes to all this LGBTQ crap being politically correct around these people with mental illnesses. So, and it needs to be said more. Will I get more hate on internet because of this? Probably. But how many people out there actually agree with me? They're just too scared to say it out loud. I'm not scared to get canceled. I can care less about the people in this world that have never done anything for me or been there for me and actually advocated for some of the policies in my life that advocated for some of these policies that made my life a living hell. Why the fuck would I want to get and join and care about what people think about me who have no direct consequence to me or to my life? Like, they can go fucking suck a dick somewhere. Anyways, have a good day. Bye.